All right, hello and welcome to part two. We were here. Let's let's play.
Luca heard a group of footsteps approaching. He dashed behind the bushes to avoid being spotted. Mr. Tolliver paused, shifting his eyes to one side. Mr. Tolliver took one long, quiet breath. The three shared a determined look.
Huh.
The two boys shared a mischievous grin. Luca could only see a cloaked shape behind the rocket. He strained to hear as fear gripped Luca's throat. Luca stared at the ground for a moment, trying to place the dampened voice. The figure shifted slowly from behind the rocket, revealing itself to Luca.
God damn, you're ugly.
Luca reached over empathetically. Iggy's tone jolted to dejected anger. Luca slumped to the ground, overwhelmed by guilt.
Holy shit, that's a lot of them.
Iggy slumped to his knees. Luca grabbed the walkie-talkie and headed for the window. Luca and Iggy climbed up the back of the treehouse to its roof, where Rollo had a mission control defense cannon. From behind the crowd of clipboards, William Kerr strode forward, a warm smile on his face.
You call that warm?
Kerr's smile faltered. Luca's grip tightened. Luca's mind raced. He was caught in a trap. What do you do when there's no hope? He wiped his cheeks with a sleeve. What are you gonna do, Luca? Luca drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left. He swung the mission control defense cannon. Luca summoned his most... Kerr turned his back with a nonchalant wave of the hand.
Oh shit.
As the clipboards began to slowly advance the end. Let's put a pin in this. This is a story about struggle. Luca could hear a machine humming somewhere nearby. He felt around wildly, searching for something, anything that could help. His hands found a hard object, maybe a tile? He yanked it free, lifting the cold stone. Let me go! Luca swung the tile as hard as he could at the shape that still held fast to his leg. He heard the crack of glass as the stone hit the assailant's mask. With a muffled yelp, the hand let go. Luca was free and scrambled to the door. He never looked back once on the long run home. Chapter 3. Everything's fine. The next morning, it was quieter than usual at the breakfast table. Only the sound of silverware and chewing interrupted the awkward silence. Miss Valentine, oldest of Sharper Valentine's children, had a way of making questions seem like demands. Mr. Wilder had learned to assume that if he was hearing from Eris, it was because she had taken issue with something he had put in the paper. Mr. Wilder averted his gaze and began to polish his mop.
No.
Huddled at his counter, Hiram Tolliver was meticulously shining apples. More accurately, Hiram Tolliver was meticulously shining one. With a yelp, Mr. Tolliver fumbled. He leaned forward. He leaned in. Mr. Tolliver leaned back, He reached forward and snapped up the... He leaned in for a...
I have no idea where this fucking diner is. Oh wait, no, maybe I do. Hold on. Yeah, no, I totally do. Nice.
Dawn had dreams of becoming a big-time reporter. At night, she searched for the story that could be her big break. By day, she hawked papers at the newsstand. She leaned forward and pinched Luca's cheek. Luca shifted the basket uncomfortably. Mrs. Fratelli lifted the cloth, and she carefully lifted out her jars of jam.
And I can't do anything here yet.
Mr. Nuncreed eyed Luca for a moment, then not. Nuncreed snatched the basket.
Okay.
Beck locked up, the look on her face with... Beck gave Luca a quick nudge.
Oh, wait, hold on. Now that I don't have that goddamn basket, I still can't do anything great.
Jeff dug through his pockets for a bit. Beck took a long breath. Chapter 4. Dinner with the Moodwills.
The Moodwills? That is a weird last name.
Ilona Moodwill was worried about change. A gardener at heart, she understood the necessity of change, relied on it even. But there was a difference between the controlled world of her plants and this cluttered cottage in a strange town. Almost done. Nellie was a blur of activity, digging through boxes. Sorry, love, couldn't find the dishes. We'll have to make do with paper plates. Dinner went by without much conversation. As she watched Beck and Luca finish up their pizza, Ilona let herself relax into the chair. The things she cared about were still here. Nellie finally had the job of her dreams. Beck was beginning to take root. Ilona's task was simply to tend to them. She could do that. Luca's eyes were fixed to his plate, pushing a chunk of pineapple around with his finger. Nellie was the one who eventually broke the silence. Ilona nervously gestured. Luca wiped his face with his sleeve. Beck gave Luca a swift... Luca glanced over to Beck. She seemed to be holding her breath. Beck slammed her fist into the table, perhaps harder than she intended. Luca glanced outside. The sky was dark. Luca wiped his mouth one last time with his napkin and started... Surprised, Luca turned around. He knew Rollo could be prickly around new people, but Beck seemed cool, probably. Luca began to respond, but the sky answered for him as the clouds above began to break, revealing patches of star-filled summer night. Moonlight. Luca stopped himself mid-sentence. Luca saw Beck skulking by the gate. Beck grabbed the wrought iron bars and shook the gate.
Ah!
Beck's voice was an excited whisper. The mysterious figure retracted their mask, hair pushing out from all corners. A chill ran down Luca's spine. His vision blurred. Beck stifled a sharp wince, and Luca... Gran tousled her hair back under the face mask. Gran gave Eris a curt nod and disappeared into... Chapter 5. What big ears you have. Lucas sat shivering in the bushes, staring at his feet. After checking to make sure the coast was clear, Beck gave him a gentle tug on his sweater. clipboard finished writing with a scratchy flourish and looked up. Mr. Nuncreed, arms crossed over his paunch, gave an exhausted sigh. He snatched the pad and the clipboards looked at each other, then broke into laugh. William Kerr and Gus Valentine proudly surveyed the half-covered festival banner. The mayor gave a half-hearted shrug. Kerr locked his arm on Gus's shoulder. With a glimmer in his eye, Kerr gestured grandly toward the horizon. Rollo waggled his head with pride.
Damn it, pick that up!
Luca sucked in a long Rollo let out a low whistle. Rollo and Luca shot back a look. Luca gazed out the window. Chapter 6. Secret Lair. Summer forged ahead, but the nights only seemed to grow colder. Luca walked home slowly under the pale starlight, cautious to avoid any more surprises lurking in the shadows. Reaching home, he slipped quietly into bed, half dreading what they might discover the next day.
He has a cute little tail, look at that. Yeah, shut up, I'm coming.
Luca and Beck rolled their eyes. Rollo flung. He coughed. A look of realization. All three kids snapped to glance at each other, then before he could finish, Luca scrambled. The three crowded around with the glass doors opened, a perfect pour. Their eyes searched for anything, but the only distinct feature was a... As Beck pulled on one of the teacups, it slanted the entire hut. Rollo casually... He smacked his lips. Rollo plunged his hand in the jar, fishing out... Rollo offered the slimy note to Luke.
Nope, that doesn't give anything.
A spider web of string connected, interspersed with hastily scrawled notes. Luca jostled each cabinet drawer. He fingered through the filing cabinet, paused for a long moment. He just stared. Luca nodded and caressed the label with his thumb. Rollo swiped the folder from the drawer, and he whistled to himself, barely. He stopped at a page. Rollo looked up with heightened... Rollo's finger traced across the page. Rollo scanned through several more pages. Luca, staring blankly at... Rollo rustled the folder, trying to loose more pages. Luca frantically shoved the remaining cabinet folder. Luca slammed the drawer shut.
Out of my fucking way!
They crowded around a worn... Rollo carefully traced the path. He jabbed down at the end. Luca looked up. Beck flicked off the light overhead. The kids looked up, the tilt of their necks following each. Then suddenly, it stopped. Without realizing, they'd been holding their... A muffled male voice... A final few footsteps reached the entrance above them, and the three kids shuffled to... As he began to... Thump. At the bottom step, the man paused. Rollo shifted suddenly. Luca gave him an intense... It was too late. Rollo was already... He screeched with all his weight from the dark corner. Luca scrambled, pressing his fingers to the man's neck. As Beck flicked back on... Chapters: The interrogation. Still unconscious, his hands were bound with... The kids huddled in a circle. One thing was certain. They needed to know what... After some deliberation, they'd run the classic good cop, chill cop interrogation. Luca walked... Mr. Tolliver. He looked over to find Luca, who returned a call. Rollo and Beck... Luca glanced over to... Mr. Tolliver. Luca gestured. Luca looked again. This time they shrugged. Luca began to slow... Mr. Tolliver. He edged in... Before the kids had... He punctuated his final... Beck darted to the wall and turned. It was too late. Rollo confirmed what they... Mr. Tolliver's muffled... They looked bewildered. They heard the staccato. The kids looked... This isn't how it goes. For some reason, they'd... Luca opened his mouth. Only a hollow... The end. Well, we certainly aren't going to find a... Back to the drawing board.
Oops, no. No, 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 no. No. No, I didn't want that. Fuck no. No!
Good cop, chill cop interrogation.
No, no, no. Fuck that. No. Fuck you.
Luca began to respond, but the sky... Luca surveyed the roiling. At that moment... Luca bent down, judging by the odor. He flipped open the... Luca flicked at one of the toggles. Luca squinted into the eye hole of the... Luca adjusted the Luca wiped his hand off on his... Beck looked down, timidly. Beck took a moment to watch the river. Luca took a deep breath, exhaling slowly. her shirt and straightened up. As abruptly as it began, the storm abated. Beck gave Luca a light thump on the arm before heading in. Chapter 5. Friendly Feud. The air was heavy with a hard rain's residue. The smell of wet things. Despite his dreary surroundings, Luca felt at peace. He'd never shared those details about his dad with anyone, not even Rollo. But it's not like this changed anything. Rollo was still his best friend. Adding Beck to the group would help balance things out. Everything's better in threes. This is what Luca told himself as he headed to the treehouse. Luca had only ever heard him speak in this stiff yet gentle tone a few times, and it always meant Rollo scoffed. Luca stumbled on his work. Luca became insane. Both boys were now shouting. Rollo's tone changed to a... The words hung in the cold. Rollo's stomach dropped, but it was too late. Luca dug through his old stuff. Gran cooed gently from the hallway. Luca just wanted to be alone. He waited to hear the sound of the front door closing. Luca dozed off again. Luca still couldn't bring himself to go out. Besides, if he ran into Rollo, he'd have to actually confront the situation. The Adventures of Hank Atomic. Luca carefully opened the... Rollo had received it for his birthday, a special hardcover edition with behind-the-scenes commentary. Rollo cherished it. Luca wasn't sure if it was because Rollo didn't trust or just wanted an excuse to... whatever the reason. But it had stayed right there now, at the foot of his bed. He'd read it all before. But he was well into issue number 5 when he heard soft... Without realizing it, Luca had pouted away the entire afternoon. He once again felt the weight of it all. Luca stood in a vast black expanse. He looked up at his father standing beside him. Walt was working a straw at the bottom of a fountain glass, trying to collect the last bits of milkshake. Dad? Where are we? Taking a final loud gurgling sip, his father peered up from the glass. He jangled the straw playfully with a warm smile, then lifted the empty glass as if to point into the darkness. The source? Luca's eyes followed his father's gesture. In an instant, he was sitting in front of a blazing campfire. Across from him sat a large figure in a yellow hazmat suit. The figure's voice was a scratchy echo. Well, if it isn't the man of the hour. Make yourself comfortable. Luca held his shivering hands over the flame to warm himself. It doesn't work that way here. Their yellow-gloved hand pointed to the base of the flame. It's a cold flame. See? Luca peered at the base of the fire. It wasn't wood that was burning. It was Beacon Pines itself. Tiny buildings, freezing and crumbling as they were consumed by flame. Luca could see small shadows moving in the burning city. People. Luca leapt to his feet. We've got to help them! The figure gave a dismissive wave of their hand. Why waste energy helping people who can't even help themselves? The figure bent down to examine the panicked crowd as they desperately tried to stop the flames. They only care about what's right in front of them, not like us. Luca's voice was a trembling whisper. Us? The figure slowly stood up, grabbing its helmet with both hands. With a jolt and a twist, the suit emitted a gasp. A cloud of torpid mist escaped, slowly revealing the face within. Luca's own face looked back at him, older, worn, distant. The sensation was oddly familiar, as if he'd caught his own reflection by surprise in the mirror. The doppelganger smiled. I tried to help once. He gestured towards his face. And all it got me was this. Luca staggered back. You aren't me. Luca felt a hand catch his shoulder. His father was there again, beside him. Every choice sets us on a path. This is the end of one of your paths. Luca watched his older self shake its head ruefully, its face twisting into a cruel grin. Welp, Dad. If you wanted him to see this, far be it from me to disappoint. Luca watched in shock as the figure took a confident step forward and plunged into the flames in a flash of cold light. he was gone. What does all of this mean? Luca felt a reassuring squeeze on his shoulder. Just remember, why we choose matters just as much as what we choose. Luca woke up to see a hazy figure at the foot of his bed, silhouetted in the morning sun. Luca rubbed his eyes. The kind, concerned face of his gran came into focus. Gran silenced Luca with a gentle pat on the leg. Luca gave a reluctant Luca took a deep breath. Chapter 6. Through Thick and Thin.
I think that is a good time to end it for this video. I shall see you all again next time.